On the morning of November 19th, 2021, at approximately 8:06 a.m., deputies with the Missoula County Sheriff's Office responded to a 911 call regarding a homicide at a home located on Patty Ann Drive in Missoula County, Montana. The caller, known by her initials HO in official documents, reported that her daughter, 34-year-old Leannah Jean Gardipe, had called her and claimed to have saved her babies. Now, Leannah had two children, a 5-year-old little boy named Namus Sandberg and a 3-year-old little girl named Evelyn Sandberg. Concerned for her grandchildren, the grandmother asked Leannah to clarify what she meant by saved. When she prodded further and asked if she had killed her children, Leannah began to cry. A few moments later, 911 dispatchers received another call. It was Leannah herself. On that call, the mother stated that she wanted to report a murder and advised dispatchers that her mother should be calling them too, as she had already confessed to her what she had done. She told dispatchers that the attack had happened that morning in a bedroom and that she had used a steak knife to slit her children's throats. She also asked dispatch to send paramedics as she allegedly could still hear noises coming from one of her children. Leannah explained that she needed to die today, but didn't elaborate further as to what that meant. Lastly, she advised dispatch that she was waiting for law enforcement to arrive, but she didn't see them yet. When sheriff's deputies arrived at Leannah's home on Patty Ann Drive, they were greeted by Leannah, who was still on the phone with 911 dispatchers. They asked the mother to step outside, and Leannah did step outside, but then she stepped back inside and locked the door. Still on the line, the 911 operator told Leannah that the officers were there to help her. Leannah responded, "No, they are not. Not for what I did."
Deputies headed around to the back of the house where they found Leannah and detained her. In the bedroom located closest to the front door, they found Namus and Evelyn lying on their backs, tucked into their beds. They looked like they were sleeping, if it weren't for the significant lacerations on their throats and defensive wounds on their hands and fingers. Neither of them were moving, and there were no obvious signs of life. After a medical examination, both 5-year-old Namus and 3-year-old Evelyn were pronounced dead. A search of the home uncovered a bloody, serrated steak knife underneath a bed, as well as a pool of blood on the floor in the little girl's bedroom. A cryptic note was also located in the threshold of the bedroom where the children were found. It read, "It was the only way that we all wouldn't burn. Now I'm the only one of us that will." Leannah and her children were relatively new members in their community. They only moved into their home during the summer of 2021. But according to neighbor Sandra Talbot, they already made a wonderful impression. She said, and I quote, "They were usually very busy riding their bikes or catching bugs or checking out the plants in the yard or something like that. They were fun to watch, just happy kids. Their mother was always with them," end quote. When discussing their untimely and tragic deaths, Sandra shared the following. "Yeah, there's darkness everywhere, but there's also light, so I'm going to remember the light." Despite the impression that Leannah and her children left on their neighbors, things weren't all sunshine and roses inside of the family home, and had not been for some time. The children's father, Travis Sandberg, had previously voiced concern about Leannah's mental health. He had filed paperwork to initiate a legal parenting plan on December 18th, 2020, following an incident that occurred a week prior. On that particular day, Leannah had suffered a serious mental health episode resulting in a trip to the emergency room. While there, she made a statement saying that she was hurting the children. Leannah later tried to claim that this damning confession wasn't true, and that it was just something she said while in a poor mindset that day. However, Child Services removed the children from Leannah's care and ruled that they were to live with their father, Travis. At that time, Leannah spent 3 weeks at Pathways Treatment Center in the quaint Montana city of Kalispell, just outside the Glacier National Park. She later attended weekly therapy sessions in Missoula and met regularly with her doctor. Throughout 2021, both Leannah and Travis attended custody hearings, but ultimately the courts placed Namus and Evelyn back into their mother's care. Travis would receive visitations 2 weekends a month and every Wednesday.
In the wake of the children's death, a GoFundMe was started to cover the cost of Namus and Evelyn's funerals, as well as offset their father's lost wages. As of the date of this recording, the fundraiser is officially closed. It raised $15,580 of its $10,000 goal. Namus and Evelyn's funeral was held on Saturday, December 4th, 2021 at Grace United Methodist Church located at 1756 South 10th Street in Missoula. Arrangements were made in the care of Sunset Memorial Garden and Funeral Home, also in Missoula. Leannah was arrested and jailed on a $10 million bond. Judge Alex Beal said that he intended to make it unattainable because she is, and I quote, the greatest threat to society and herself. She was charged with 2 counts of deliberate homicide, which she initially pled not guilty to.
The woman accused of killing her 2 young children at a Missoula home last month has pleaded not guilty to murder charges. 34-year-old Leannah Gardipe appeared in Missoula District Court this morning on 2 counts of deliberate homicide for the deaths of her 3-year-old daughter and her 5-year-old son. Court documents state Missoula County Sheriff's deputies responded to a home on Patty Ann Drive back on November 19th after getting 911 calls from Gardipe's mother and then Gardipe herself. Deputies found the children deceased inside the home, while a knife was later recovered from underneath the bed. Gardipe is in the Missoula County Detention Facility on a $10 million bond. Her next court date is set for February 8th.
In August of 2023, Leannah changed her plea to guilty. As part of her plea agreement, prosecutors will ask for consecutive life terms in the Montana Department of Health and Human Services, with no time suspended. Leannah also must pay $1,050 in court fees. She's scheduled to be back in court for her sentencing on November 20th, 2023 at 10 a.m.
Now, we normally end our episodes with something sentimental about the victims we cover, but sadly, not much is known publicly about who Namus and Evelyn were. Even their obituaries shared no clues whatsoever. We did, however, find a tribute to the children posted by Carrie Soheim on October 27th, 2022. We found it rather touching and will be sharing that with you now. It read, and I quote, "Your little life was so precious, and sadly you are gone from us forever. I will never forget hearing you say my name for the first time, or the first time we actually met. Your long hair and carefree attitude. It was a great day for me. I hold you now in my mind, my soul, and my heart forever and ever. Take care of your little sister and never let her go, for you are both with God and together. If we ever get to meet again, I would be so happy and lucky, as I am lucky to have been in your sweet life. Love you, Evelyn, sweet little Evelyn. Such a tender heart, and her love for her mommy was so strong. Kiss your mommy as I forgive her for her faults and failures."